Hey guys, today I want to talk a little bit about my experience running a marathon. Now, I don't identify as a runner whatsoever, but it was on my bucket list. And I thought, why not do it while we were still living in Hawaii, and why not do it before I have kids? Considering what a huge time commitment it is and how much energy you have to put in to training. Now, since I'm not a runner, I started my training about 9 months before the marathon, and not all of it was very intense. I'd say for 4 or 5 months, I was doing 3, 4, 5, working my way up to 8 miles. And then once I hit 8 miles comfortably, that's when I kind of started incorporating those longer runs in. I did not follow any type of program. I probably should have, but somehow it still worked out to my success. So I kind of just followed my own little program, and I made sure that I had time. A lot of times I'd get up at 5 a.m. to run before work, and usually that was my 8 or 10 mile day. I would do that before work, go to work. I did some nighttime runs, but most of the time I tried to do it in the morning if I could. And not that weather was really a problem, because Hawaii is pretty temperate all the time. But yeah, so I didn't follow any program. I just kind of did my own thing. My longest run for training was 21 miles. I still remember that day clearly. It ended up actually being pretty hot that day, and because it took me so long, and I had a few hills that I trained on running up in my neighborhood. I was toast, and I think it was a few weeks before the marathon itself, and I was just wondering how I would add 5 more miles onto it. But everyone told me and supported me through that once you're there and you're with the energy of others, it's not going to be a problem at all. And I didn't train with any training partners either. I kind of am a solo runner. I am actually running with a friend now, which has proven to be really, really good. But for the marathon, I was solo training completely. So it was nice to have the energy of other runners when I actually got to the race. And I absolutely enjoyed having that energy piece, and it kept me going. But anyway, a couple other things I wanted to share. Of course, part of my routine was having to relax the muscles and really that self-care aspect. So I did acupuncture about once a week, especially towards the end, and I did yoga, and I actually hired one of the yoga studio instructors to do one-on-one sessions with me, so that way I really got into my right hip, because my right hip was my problem area. On those long runs, I started to notice that the right hip would start to seize up. So I made sure that we were really taking care of that area, and I definitely give them credit, all that I did for the marathon and being able to survive, and my hip didn't even hurt during it, so that was great. Nutrition-wise, I didn't really follow much of a plan. I just ate a lot of chicken and rice the night beforehand, and the morning of, I made sure I got my beets and my greens and my carbs and a lot of protein. Nothing special. And before runs, I ate beets quite a bit. I feel like the one food that I added in was a lot of beets, especially before those long run days. And then during the marathon itself, I had those little goo packets, and so I would take those about every hour or so, and had them in my little fanny pack, and those really, really helped. I tried to limit the amount of water, especially Gatorade, that I drank, so that way I didn't have to go to the bathroom. I ended up going to the bathroom only once. So the goo was like really my main nourishment, and then an occasional water stop. And Shoe-wise, I wore Asics. I really liked them a lot. They were like, my feet felt like they were on clouds. Nowadays, I probably would have gone more with the barefoot shoe. But back then, those were perfect for me. And I think that's really about it. But otherwise, just having that experience really, I had to trust myself. And that was one of my first fears, that how the heck am I going to get through this? How am I mentally and physically going to make 26 miles? And somehow I found just the right amount of love for myself and trust to go through with it. There was a few times where I was like, I should just drop out. I'm not going to go. But towards the end, I had this burst of confidence that yes, I can do this, and I'm going to, because I've worked so hard for this. I know I have done my training, and I'm going to show up for myself. And I did. And it felt amazing to have that follow through and to cross that finish line. I've never been more dead in my life. But actually that's not true. My Muay Thai fight, I think I was even more dead than that. It's a different kind of dead. But I just put my hands up, and I have the gallery of pictures, and those mean so much to me. Because I really went out of my comfort zone to run that long of a distance, and I'm just forever proud of myself. I look back on that day so fondly, and just how glorious it felt to have gone through that journey, and knowing that it was a longer journey than most of my athletic events, training-wise. It took a lot to commit to it. And I think that's why it felt so good, because it was such a high commitment level, and that I showed up. I showed up to that commitment. And, the days following, I felt pretty good, which was awesome. I really nourished myself. I made sure that I celebrated what my body and mind had gone through. So anyway, if a marathon is on your bucket list, I really encourage you to trust yourself, to commit to something that will expand you in so many ways. As long as you have the time commitment, you can do it. You really can. And for you, it might be easier to find a running buddy. I like just listening to my music. Listening to music gets me through. But anyway, I'll leave you there. Just my little experience. I don't know if I'll run one again, because I got way better time than I thought I would. And now that I'm getting older, but I'm training better, I don't know. We'll see. Maybe one day. But anyway, take care. Bye.